This is Tired But Called, and I'm your host, Dani Kinchen. We're here looking for and finding real hope for tired parents. Every week, we cover topics that real parents are struggling with and explore how God's Word offers encouragement in this area. In today's episode, we're talking about quieting the critics in parenthood. Let's do this. Hey, y'all. Let's get started with highs and lows. For those of you tuning in for the first time, I will share my parenting discipleship high and low for the week. And then if you're watching on YouTube, be brave and share your high and low in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Let's do this together. Okay, high of the week. Sometimes on the way to preschool, when the kids are quiet, they're not pointing at those massive American flags that fly above the car dealerships. When they're not doing that, I sometimes like to ask them a question. I ask them, how can we be like Jesus today? And then we all take turns just giving our answers. And usually they say something along the lines of, I'll hug my teachers or I'll make new friends. This week, my son said that he was going to share. Of course, I told him that was a great answer. He responds, did Jesus share? And y'all, it just flew out of my mouth. I said, he shared everything he had. Right after I said it, that line, it just took me somewhere else. He shared everything he had. I had just never thought about it that way. And my kids are just chirping away in the back seat. And here I am in the front. The Lord is completely overwhelming me with an entirely new understanding of the depths of Jesus' heart for us. And I have quickly realized through the few conversations that I'm already starting to have with my kids that family discipleship really is a two-way street. My son taught me something in that car drive on the way to preschool. Learning together as a family about God reveals dimensions of his character that we would never realize ourselves. And it is such a blessing. Low of the week. We took a camping trip in our little Airstream this weekend to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. And it was a beautiful weekend. My mom came and she looked after the kids for us. We absolutely could not have done the trip without her. And when we got back, on top of everything else she did watching our 3 under 4, we came home to a completely spotless living room and kitchen. It was such a gift. And it was also my low. Number one, I allowed in that moment the enemy to steal my gift from my mom away from me because I focused on feeling completely inadequate as a homemaker for my kids when I got home and I saw this spotless living room. Tripping is a common occurrence in our household. Number two, the Spirit also gently nudged me to deal with an issue that I had been putting off, which was the proliferation of toys in our house. You can only imagine with 3 under 4, the various toys all over our house. Thankfully, I was obedient to that spirit and I sought counsel from my mom that evening. She's typically very sentimental, and even she affirmed that nudge. In that conversation, she just suggested that the kids help us set aside toys to donate to other kids. Y'all, we did it the next day and our kids were excited and happy to pick and choose what they gave away. My son was very clear that his binoculars were not going anywhere. We kept those, but we quickly cleared a trash bag size of toys and 3 ride-on toys, which if you have toddlers, you know that those take up a lot of floor space. Suddenly, this low, it became an unplanned moment of family serving and giving. In the end, God used my low for good. That was my low of the week, but it was also a little bit of a high, and I love how God works that way sometimes. Let's dive into today's topic. If you want to read the article behind this episode or reference it later, you can always find it on my website at danikinchen.wordpress.com. Today, we are talking about quieting the critics in parenthood. About 47% of moms say they feel judged for how they parent, according to a 2023 Pew Research report. The survey determined that almost half of us feel judged in particular by other parents in our community, and a third of us feel judged for how we parent by our friends and people that we interact with online. The same research showed that mothers struggle with this challenge more than fathers, but still about a third of dads reported a similar struggle with judgment. This widespread negative perception of our parenting skills has taken a toll on us. These voices have a profound impact on our overall well-being as parents, according to a prior study by Pew Research back in 2014. In the 2014 study, the researchers found, quote, that those who gave themselves high ratings as parents were among the most likely to say they were very happy with their life. The reverse was true too. How mothers and fathers see themselves as parents is clearly linked to their overall sense of well-being. Quote, as a parent, my quiet confidence often gives way to this miserable inadequacy in an instant. And that's just with a side glance from someone, a late arrival on my part, a public display of attention from my kids. And when it happens, suddenly I'm lost in a noise of judgment and criticism. And that's real or perceived criticism. I know that God's word, it tells us that we are meant to take counsel, but we're not subject to the heavy burden of always ever present criticism from ourselves or from others. We can take comfort in the fact that we serve only one voice. When we hear many, we can hear just one. Colossians 3:23 through 24 says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. You are serving the Lord Christ. And notice there it says, we're serving the Lord, the one, and not men, the many. God's voice reigns over all other voices. Isaiah 2:22 says, stop regarding man in whose nostrils is breath, for of what account is he? We only have one master, y'all, and we can't serve two or many. We serve one master, and so we need hear only one voice. Still, though, when others' thoughts become our own, the Bible does remind us, y'all, that we can ask for God's help to take our thoughts captive. God is sovereign over all things, and that includes our thoughts. Amos 4:13 says, for behold, he who forms the mountains and creates the wind and declares to man what is his thought, who makes the morning darkness and treads on the heights of the earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name. The Lord declares to man what is his thought. He can block out the noise in our hearts and our heads. Isaiah 26:3 says, you keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. When we train our hearts on his voice, he can voice his right plans for us. The world can be loud, y'all, but we serve one master with one voice. Where I struggle with this most is my schedule as a part-time working parent. Sometimes I hear judgment, whether it's there or not, that I should work more to afford more for our kids or work less to afford more time with our kids. That happens when I am one of the last in the carpool pickup line, or that one time my kid came home with another kid's lunchbox on accident. And I suddenly realized I am not good at the little details. In the last year or so, I've started an exercise that has saved me from spinning out so many times already in these little moments. After I experience one of those little moments of defeat, I leave and make a bubble for myself somewhere. And that could be at the end of a sidewalk, in the car, the bathroom, our back porch, literally in the parking lot on the way to the car. And I'll ask the Lord direct prayer here. Lord, are we good? Are you asking something more from me here? And I'll wait. This exercise has finally taught me what Matthew 11:28 through 30 really means. I didn't get it before, not even a year ago. I get it now. Matthew 11:28 through 30 says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I have been astonished by how many times when I ask him this question, are we good? Are you asking something more from me here? He has responded with, this is not a burden for me. It's not every time, of course, but so many times he has responded with, this is not a burden for me. And suddenly my spirit just lifts and breathes again. I fall into this trap of trying to prove to myself that I am a good parent by doing all the things everyone says, or just one person says that a quote good parent would do. And then I end up playing criticisms on a loop in my head. And I rely and depend on my poor husband to dig me out of that pit with compliments or counterpoints. And I'm a lawyer. He's not. That's kind of setting him up for failure there. And I'm sure it will happen again. But checking in with God directly, that's the key that I've learned. When you hear many voices, hear one. Before we sign off, I just wanted to thank everyone. We have almost 40 subscribers on YouTube. Your support has been overwhelming, and I'm so grateful, guys, to be doing this with y'all. If today encouraged you, subscribe wherever you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment and click that notification bell to get an alert when the next episode drops. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a quick rating and review. Help me serve more tired parents with free resources and encouragement. Don't forget to visit danikinchen.wordpress.com. You can subscribe to receive my latest articles in your inbox as I post them. Download the free daily prayer calendar for parents linked below. If you're an Instagrammer, we have a brand new Instagram account. Find me at Tired But Called. Tired parents, I see you, and I will see you next week.